breaking news. It's actually
And
not.
live from New York, it's Wednesday night.
Is it Wednesday night?
It is Wednesday. It is Wednesday, my dudes. Do you guys
Wednesday.
remember that vine? Wednesday.
Did you know where the days come from? Like the name of the days?
Isn't it about the stars or something?
No.
Or the
It's
planets,
not about Hollywood.
Not the stars. Where did please enlighten us?
Okay, so Wednesday is actually a bastardization of the pronunciation of Odin. Some people call it Woden. So it's like Woden's Day.
Was he very woeful?
Yes. And Thursday is Thor's Day.
Thirsty Thursday. It's
and
my favorite.
Friday is Freya's Day.
Freaky Friday, my favorite.
And Tuesday is Tears Day. They're all
Turn Up Tuesday, my favorite.
And Monday is Moon Day, and Sunday is Saturday.
That's MILF Day. That's my other favorite.
Excuse me?
MILF Day?
Excuse me?
Mother. I could just realize I could turn MILF into a couple other acronyms, and I don't want to talk about that.
That's fair. That's fair. I don't blame you.
Thank you.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Will, you are alive, right? Or were you just waiting for us to stop being stupid?
Well, no, was just letting you guys just get it, go through.
All right. Well, we actually have, for once, we have sort of a topical conversation plan, do we not?
Yeah, like a normal thing that people talk about on first dates.
Like breaking news.
This is what I bring up.
Okay.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. That ice over there. It's breaking.
That ice over there. we're gonna be talking about favorite movies. I'm only gonna be talking about one. My entire time will be spent talking about this one movie.
All right, cool.
Flicka.
So, Brennan, we're not going to let her talk at all.
I'm kidding. I think I have like five. Okay. Five solid ones.
But I thought we were talking about the news today.
I 100% thought we were talking about the news. I thought.
We were going to talk about the news today. That happened.
Oh. Well, I don't know what the fuck. What happened in the news today?
Okay, Kayla. Things happen in life that affect, people.
While you're busy showing people your fucking toes, things are happening.
Listen, I gotta pay the bills. All right, people want to see these little piggies.
But if you pay the bills, you turn your camera on, and then we could get paid. So I don't want to hear your crap today.
It's a breach of contract.
Who do you have a contract with? Don't say.
I
almost said it.
Her girlfriend.
I don't. Shut the fuck up. Don't get anybody excited. We're not doing it. I don't want to play today.
It's not happening. It's not seeing you.
It's all good.
I'm not seeing you.
Moving forward.
Moving forward.
Why don't you enlighten us as to what the news?
All right.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Well, that's why we're informing you. We're bringing you up to date on the world as it turns.
I hate world news.
Okay, cool. Right. Anyway, in the NFL, over the weekend.
Football related.
She's like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
Let's go Bills! They're gonna win the Super Bowl.
It's funny because it actually affects the Bills in a certain, way. So what happened was there was a.
Oh man.
There's always been this. There's a rule in the NFL that when you're doing coaching interviews, that you're supposed to interview at least one minority coach. It's called the Rooney Rule. And the issue with it, a lot of black coaches and other people around the league have kind of felt like it's just, they schedule a guy to come in.
Just a pony show.
It's
not
horse
like
and pony show.
Yeah.
Right. Saying, hey, we did it and move on from it. So there's a guy, Brian Flores, who was coached the Miami Dolphins, did a heck of a job turning the Dolphins around from constantly being at the top 4 of the draft to coming 1 win away to making the playoffs this year.
It surprised everybody.
Right. They literally could have made the playoffs this year. And he was still fired. other coaches of lesser records, and
Right. Well,
he was really turning the franchise around. People
what
felt.
what came the reasoning, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, is because they wanted him to tank for a draft pick, and he wouldn't do it.
That is one of the things that he says in the lawsuit.
Means
Is
so, Kayla, when you
he
have the
was saying
worst
that he was
record, you
offered
get the highest draft pick.
right.
Okay.
So people who like are at the end of the season when they're like 0-14, and they basically have no way of ever getting to the playoffs, they will usually what's called tank and lose on purpose just to get a higher
They'll
draft
just
pick.
throw games, and he was asked to do that, and he kind of felt, well, as a coach, that stays on your record everywhere you go, that your record is this and this. And so he kind of booked that and was like, I'm gonna have my guys compete. And it's important to a lot of guys in the NFL. NFL, you only have like a 3 to 4 year window to really prove that you belong in the league. Not everybody's making all them dollar bills, and if you kind of show that you can go out there and compete, that gets you a second contract, and you can feed your family and really, change your life and your family's life. So, but also he kind of felt that, hey, if I'm the one out there losing, that just makes me more of a scapegoat when they decide to fire me. So the big thing that has come from it is he was scheduled to interview with the New York Giants, and he received a text message from Bill Belichick, coach of the New England Patriots, saying, "Hey, yeah, congratulations! I heard that from the Giants organization that you're their guy and they're going to hire you." And he was just like, "Oh, that's great, but I interviewed with them on Thursday." I said, "That's strange." So he thought it was weird that they're, the organization saying, "Oh, that he's their guy," and he hadn't finished the interview process.
Yeah. Right.
So then Belichick comes back later and says, "Oh man, I fucked up. I meant to text another guy, Brian, the current guy,
Brian Flores,
right? Brian,
Oh,
not
no.
Brian Flores.
No. Yes, the one that got hired, the offensive line.
Right. Yes, I can't remember his last name, but his name was also Brian. They had both worked for Belichick at one point in time, and he had, I guess, their contacts next to each other. So he had texted the wrong Brian. He's like, "Oh yeah, now they're going with this dude, the Bills offensive coordinator. He's being made the Giants head coach," and it pissed him off because he's like, "Well, they've made this decision and they haven't even interviewed me, which means that they just basically brought me in despite the Rooney Rule just to be like, oh yeah, we interviewed a minority candidate, but they already knew that they weren't going to hire him no matter what."
Yeah.
No, that's bad.
So he's suing the Giants. He's suing the Miami Dolphins. It's a class action. He basically goes suing most of the NFL. He understands that, in doing so, this is shaking things up and could probably threaten his ability to coach in the NFL or, opportunity to coach in the NFL in the future. Because it's kind of hard to go if you're suing the NFL, the entire NFL as a whole. It's kind of hard to go to work and be like, hey, how's it going? I'm suing you guys, by the way.
Yeah, I guarantee you. I can almost guarantee you he's not going to get another coaching job.
Well, it sounds like he's doing like a social justice more thing.
He feels like
the bigger, right? He feels like the bigger issue
at
hand
is,
yeah. He feels the bigger issue at hand is like standing up and saying, "Look, these are the practices that are happening in the league, and nobody's doing anything about it. So, I'm bringing awareness to it. I'm suing because it needs to be addressed." NFL came out today and said they think nothing wrong had happened.
Right.
But of course they do. It's all the owners.
But obviously did if they're still why would they even continue the interviewing process if they already are hiring someone?
Because they legally have to due to the Rooney Rule.
Yeah, because they legally have to because of this rule that the NFL has in place that you have to interview a minority coaching candidate. Yeah. And what they were also talking about as well, is the amount of minority coaches that have been fired last year. The only person, I believe, the only one who's left, and there's still some vacancies. I guess other guys can be hired at some point. But Mike Tomlin of the Pittsburgh Steelers, I believe, is the only minority coach left in the NFL. You know, everyone else that they give shots to, you know.
Or is Ron Rivera done? I'm trying to remember. Ron Rivera, he's Hispanic, no?
I look it up. I'll see if he's active. You know.
So how long do they normally give the minority coaches like time to like they give them what like 2 years or something? They don't give them a lot of time.
It depends on their performance. Like
it really depends on their performance. Like we've seen some minority coaches get fired in like their first year. Like they come in and it doesn't work out, and it's or they sometimes you go to a struggling team. A team that was just
you
in
don't
the lottery.
Immediately turn it around, and people are expecting instant gratification.
Oh my god, what's that's a phenomenon where like if you bring a minority into like a position and they don't do 10 times better than what like the white person does, then their standard is supposed to be because it's like something where they have to come in and not be as good as the white person. They have to be better than like what it is.
Right.
That I know about.
Right. Rivera's still coaching. Yeah.
I think he's Hispanic.
So like, what do you?
African American. Yeah, it's Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
What's the So the issue here is people are like upset about the requirement to interview a minority, or
it's more so that it is a lot of people just kind of feel like, oh, they just. That the African American coaches aren't really given a fair shot. It's like, hey, we're going to put you in a position on a losing franchise, or, of a bad team, just to kind of get through while we go through a rebuilding phase, and then after that, now we can fire you, and we're going to bring in a coach that fits more.
What they
okay,
want.
Right, and a lot of that mentality has come from. A lot of these NFL owners, because the ownership kind of swings. Right. They swing things. And, yeah, they're either a bunch of old white guys, or are no minority owners. There are none. Like,
I always felt like the NFL was corrupt anyway.
I mean,
I wouldn't say I want to go that far, but I.
Well, I don't know. I just hear random things where I'm like, it just it never sits right with me.
So Mike Tomlin's the only black coach in the NFL right now, and he constantly he hasn't had a losing season in his coaching career in the NFL.
I mean, I support the guy suing. Because like at the end of the day, like Bill Belichick, whatever, he like fucking he fucked up.
I mean, yeah, but it's
and everything. But still, like, and he provided a lot of evidence. But still, like, I don't know. I don't think that's right.
No, I mean, I'm gonna preface this by saying I am a white heterosexual cisgender male, so no one's gonna care what I have to say about anything.
Yes. You lied to me.
But, I do believe the Rooney Rule had good intentions when it started, and I do believe it did help. But I think we're at the point now where it's not helping, and that it sort of is in a way just sort of placating. You know what I mean? It's just for appearances, which isn't. But I posed a question to you, like, what do you believe a better alternative to the Rooney Rule would be?
Jesus, a better alternative.
Not you. I don't care what you have to say.
Oh, like.
Candace's like, oh, thank God.
Like the fuck.
I mean, darn. Remember, the Rooney Rule, the design of the Rooney Rule was to expose minority coaches to those power structures. It was supposed to expose you to GMs, presidents of organizations, ownership as well, to build those relationships that you kind of need to have a career in the NFL doing other different things. Where it has kind of changed into is, like you said, like, it's just okay, yeah, we did it, but like I said, like when it comes to the Giants hired the Buffalo Bills vice GM. Okay, and then they hired the Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator. So it makes sense that, hey, I'm coming from the Bills. I'm going to hire a guy who I saw around the offices, spoke to, have probably a decent working relationship. That makes sense. Okay, I guess the frustration comes from that, you're not necessarily giving people who might just be better qualified for the job a shot. All right, you don't necessarily know or not because you're not taking their interview process seriously.
Right.
Yeah, there's several coaches who took over organizations and had to turn them around, and it was just like the slightest margin of error, and then boom, they're out. And then you have guys like Jeff Fisher, who, in my opinion,
should have been
just
what's his
god
name?
awful coaches.
Jason Garrett for the Cowboys. I mean,
and they just constantly
pass after pass.
Yes, getting coaching position, brought in all the time.
Yeah, and then meanwhile you got David Culley for the Texans, who got fired after one season.
Right.
So yeah, I get your point.
After losing his starting quarterback, like his all-pro starting quarterback, and he, given the team, go out there, they suck. Clearly, you're going to suck after having a loss like that, and they're just like, okay, cool, bye.
Right. I remember as a Jets fan, I remember Todd Bowles he started off pretty well. I think I'm trying to remember, we even reached the playoffs, but then he went down the tank, and I remember calling for his firing, but then he ended up doing really great as defensive coordinator for the Bucs. So maybe he'll get another shot. Maybe he'll get another shot.
Right. I think he's still there with the Bucs.
Yeah.
But he's not getting a call. I mean, he won a Super Bowl as a defensive coordinator, stopping the most that Kansas City offense, which is crazy, difficult to do. But no one's called him up to be like, hey, come run our organization. It's just like, so I guess that is just the thing, and all the NFL, a lot of the, I could say there's a lot of like the sports pundits today are kind of upset about it as well. Because a lot of them are NFL players, and they're just like, hey, I'm trying to go out there and win and compete. And a lot of what this guy's saying, that the owner's telling him, hey, I'm gonna pay you $100,000 for every game you lose, so we can get this quarterback. And he probably would have been paid well, and they probably would have turned around and been like, okay, cool, we're letting you go because of the record. But, you got paid and going about your life type of thing.
Right.
And he kind of, then all that really does is makes him walk away seeming like, oh, yeah, he was a bad coach. He was a loser type of thing. He bucked that trend. And then he was fired for being difficult to work with, quote unquote, as they said. So, yeah, it's just kind of things that, like I said, I don't really necessarily know that there's a fix. It's a system that's in place.
Right. Yeah, it's difficult. Maybe this will help dismantle that system. You never know.
Maybe it really comes to. I mean, there's some people who said, if this is true, if everything that he alleged is true, that they should take the team away from the guy who owns the Miami Dolphins. They should force him to sell it.
I agree.
And we saw that with the old Clippers owner, Sterling.
Right. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, because the reality is a lot of these teams are either owned by old white guys or they're passed down to the children of said old white guys.
Right.
And
it's just old white guys controlling the lives of young black men, which is never good, in appearances, and especially when they try to pull shit like that. It's just they're paying this guy to lose, and he refuses to do it, and he tries to actually do the noble good thing, and then he gets canned for it.
Right.
Yeah. Terrible.
Right. Yeah. So.
But yeah, like you said, it's tough because it is the system. It's institutionalized. But maybe him making this more like maybe bringing attention to it. It's a good way. That's the issue I have with a lot of things, especially around like woke culture. Sometimes is that I feel that there's people that believe bringing attention to something, no matter how you do it, can be a positive thing, and I disagree with that, because if you bring negative attention to something, then that subject is going to have negative attention. And I believe that.
Yeah, I do think there's certain fights that need to happen. There's others that are just kind of like.
Well, how would you positively bring this up?
No, I was saying this as an example of thing that was positively brought up. Like,
I misunderstood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. You know, because it's basically because they've been having conversations, like people been going on sports talk shows and former NFL players, former NFL coaches, and saying, hey, this is a thing, this is a problem. And for years the NFL has just kind of been like, what? No, it's no problem. See, look, they just hired what's his so and so over in that team. That team's in last place. Like, that team has no shot of winning. Yeah, but look, he's out there. He's giving it the old college try.
Look at him go.
Love the old college
look at him go. And it's like they never really truly like set themselves up to actually have true success.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
But,
so yeah, in a way, it's kind of like, all right, cool. You guys want to, tiptoe around the subject forever. Well, now I'm forcing you to shine a light on it and calling your practices into court.
Absolutely, and I think that's a good way to go about it. And especially, when people first hear about it, when I first heard about it, I was like, oh, is he suing because he didn't get hired? That's a little weird. But then all this stuff came out about, the texts and the money that he was owed. So I think it's absolutely the right move. I believe that I just, unfortunately, like I said, I don't believe that dude's ever going to coach again. I don't think anyone's going to touch him. It's going to be the same thing.
Not in the NFL.
No, he won't.
Not in the NFL. I mean, look, the problem. What's even crazier is that he was interviewing for the Texans job and the Saints job, and he told them like, "Hey, look, I'm going through with this class action lawsuit. I just want you guys to be aware while I go through the interviewing process." Still, like I said, the easiest way to kind of calm down the hype if you're the NFL is to hire this guy someplace, but at the same time, if you're suing the NFL, like those teams are also included in that they're named on that suit.
Right.
So it is an interesting kind of situation he kind of has himself in.
We'll see where it takes us. Topical today because it deals with racism in the NFL. Kayla,
right?
Do you know the new name of Washington's football team?
No. Is it the Georges?
Why would they do?
Because they're Georges.
Ladies and gentlemen, new topic. I don't condone violence against women.
Kayla's not a woman.
We can remove Kayla from being considered a woman.
I feel like I ask for violence in my life a lot. Don't know if I'm.
Oh my god. But yes, they've changed their names to the Washington Commanders. Come on.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think
isn't that the name of Biden's dog?
Dog.
Yeah, he named.
We're from New York, folks, so you can tell.
From New York.
Oh god.
Coffee. I actually just finished my
coffee challenge. Today's coffee challenge.
Yeah.
Today's coffee challenge.
That was
coffee.
I gotta walk the dog and get my coffee.
Cup of coffee.
Gotta get a cup of coffee costs $0.25 on the corner.
And
do you
the
know
challenge
how hard I have to focus to not do that?
It's part of your accent. Like, what do you want? Like,
yeah,
you grew up in New York.
Been like, I was so pissed off reading that. Like, I heard it in my head, and I was like, God damn it! Like, I
get made fun of whenever I'm like with the company. Like, they're always just like, "Why are you talking like that?" I'm like, "The fuck!" Like, why aren't you? Like, sorry,
Look around and find out. That's why.
Look around.
Right.
For real. I'm like, sorry, I'm not from the fucking redneck part of America.
Ooh, we have to censor that one.
Company, right? Don't call your company the redneck part of America.
I'm not.
No, I actually was very impressed when I went to go visit, and it was like super, like liberalized and nice, and they had pride. Yeah, they had gay shit on the streets. I was like,
well, I'm not
pride?
going
I just have this image of like garbage that's like really rainbowy on the like it's gay shit all over.
No, they have like streets painted in gay. They have rainbows on theirs. I saw that shit. I was like, you guys got gay people I mean, I found out later that they do.
That's gotta be disappointing. That's gotta be disappointing to the immigrant, because you're like, America, the streets are paved with gold, and you get there and just rainbows.
Just
like,
rainbows.
The fuck is this shit? Like,
it's gay people. The streets are paved. God, I wish the streets are paved with gay.
Yeah. Oh my god! Okay. If that's not the title of your autobiography, I'm not reading it. The streets are paved with gay. I
guarantee. Literally, if the streets were paved with gay, Kayla would go there and be like, "Wow, this is amazing. This is a lot. I'm gonna go back home and just lay down."
I think that's very accurate.
I see you guys over here doing you, but I'm not about that right now, so I'm gonna go back home.
Listen, I can't do it too.
I'm happy that this is here,
but
I can't. I can't be around it. I need to go.
One of my favorite tweets of all time. I don't know if I
can't
said
just like one of you just come home with me and just like watch a movie and
wait. What? Yeah, let me just get one. I don't like a lot.
No, not all
one. Not all of them. Just one. Just let me get. Can I have one? Everybody gets one.
Everybody, that's the rules.
Wait, Brendan, what was your favorite tweet? What were you saying?
It said, "Oh God, hey girl, are you a pizza at a Chinese buffet? Because I'm not feeling you right now, but I see you over there doing you, and I respect that." That's like so accurate. Because I've been to a Chinese buffet and I've seen pizza, and I'm just like, I respect that, but no.
That's not what I'm here
for. That is not why we're here.
Yeah, really.
That's so funny. Yeah, whenever I go to gay places, everybody knows what I'm about. They know.
What the hell are you talking about? When you go to a gay place, people know you're gay? No shit.
No, not really. Actually, it's a little.
I guess they just know you better than most people.
Well, yeah, I think it takes a conversation, but I'm very femme presenting, so people look at me and they're like, "How's your boyfriend?" I'm like, "The fuck did you just say to me?"
I mean, I guess you are femme presenting. I mean, I don't know. Like when you wear flannel, you look very gay.
Yeah, fair.
I think
also like the way I sit. I do a lot of lesbian stereotypes.
Like,
I haven't worn those in a while. I don't actually. I wonder if
boots.
My flicka boots. Yeah, because I'm a horse girl.
Which into the next subject, I thought that was your favorite movie. Flicka.
No, I do enjoy that movie. It is not my favorite. No. No.
Well, do we want to keep discussing that, or do we want to save that for another episode?
I don't know. How much time are we on this cast? We're fucking all over the place.
28 minutes?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Do we have other stuff to do? A nice, that, yeah, we can.
I mean, like I said, I guess that was a pretty, heavy subject. I mean, Kay, do you have any, final thoughts on it?
I mean, what you were saying, I agree with. I support the lawsuit. I think it is bringing light these issues. I always am a fan of, these kind of, legal repercussions, and regardless of whether or not he actually gets paid or anything, I think he will, but get some type of settlement. But regardless of that, it's bringing to light, Taylor Swift did something. I say that because I'm looking at my fuck the patriarchy keychain. But anyway,
that's great.
She recently she did a lawsuit a couple years ago, and people were giving her shit for it because she did a lawsuit against, I think it was her producer, who sexually assaulted her or harassed her or something like that. It was some type of
I know she re-released sexual misconduct. Isn't that what?
Oh no, this was years ago. It was sexual misconduct, and she sued him for $1 just to prove a point.
Fuck of it, yeah.
Because she was like, this isn't okay. It's not. She was like, people are gonna think it's about the money, and I did this so that it's not about the money. But then people she sued for $1, and people that's stupid. Why are you even doing it? So it's just at the end of the day, no matter what, you're going to get heat for it. But she was like, no, this behavior is unacceptable. And I think that's also when she went off and created her own label, and now why she's re-releasing her music. And I really hope the next one she releases is, what's the one I want? Speak Now. I really want that one.
Or Forever Hold Your Peace.
Yeah, that's a great song.
I want to play it at my wedding.
It was so easy to play on guitar. One of the first Taylor Swift songs I learned.
You know what's easy to play on guitar? Brain Stew by Green Day.
I don't know that song.
Oh, it's
anyway. Here's Wonderwall.
And then the rest of the episode's just gonna be Wonderwall instrumental.
And requests. Great. Here's Wonderwall again.
Put What's that Family Guy
that's
episode?
oh my god, that's Star Wars when they're in the cantina.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, that was the cantina theme. Do you have any requests? Play that same song. Hey, you got it.
You got it, buddy.
I have a dream of when I finally take singing lessons. I have a dream.
All right, listen.
Yeah,
Kayla, I'm stopping you there.
No, I do. It's a real dream.
It's Black History Month. You can't just lead into I have a dream and not be like fit. Okay, so
fine. I have a future
I just
vision.
love that you did that totally unironically.
I didn't mean to. I have a future vision of myself. I want to play guitar and sing a song on stage. However, I need to get my singing lessons first with Wilbur. Our young Wilbur is a singer person thing who does singer person things, and one day I'm gonna fucking do it. It's gonna be amazing.
And I'm gonna be in the front, not directly in the front row. I'm gonna be in the second row, just boo. Because it's like somehow it's even worse when they're in the second row. Like they didn't even want to sit close to you.
That would be such like a hilarious thing. Like if Kato's like just up there. And Brennan's just there, boo. Bring the last guy back up. And then she's the first act. There was nobody before.
Yeah.
There's no one else up there.
It was an empty stage, and I'm like, yeah. Like,
silence is better.
I'm gonna play some really lame song, I Kissed the Girl on acoustic.
I'll do it.
Oh my god!
I would fucking. What does he do? Jeremy Jam from Parks and Rec. Like I just start throwing stink bombs. Got him off eBay.
Please don't do that.
So Kayla, any other future visions do you have for yourself?
Well,
I have a future vision of you come the 14th.
I don't want that vision. I don't envision that.
It's a week from Monday.
Yep.
I don't like that.
Well, nobody asked if you did.
I'm gonna say knock you out.
I'm gonna knock you out.
I don't want any of these visions. I'm gonna go all over the world. That's my next vision.
Fun fact: it was LL Cool J's grandmother that told him to knock somebody out. But Mama fit better instead of grandmama.
It does.
Well, I mean, Brendan and the African American community.
You just call her Mama. Yeah,
Mama.
That's fair. But I believe he did say that he changed it to Mama because it flowed better.
Okay. It does. I was raised with that. My family was like, knock 'em out energy, whooping ass.
I was not, as you could probably tell. I was raised by just.
I don't like it anymore. I don't like it anymore.
It's just like take your toys and go home.
Just go home. Yeah, no, 100%. My dad said.
I don't know. The rule is you don't start a fight, you finish it. That's what it is. That's
Meanwhile, I was taught that if you don't live, you weren't meant to survive in the first place. So
wow, that's
dark, but also kind of accurate. But also not. I don't know. I've never. Sorry, this is gonna get serious. I've never bought into that whole Darwinian survival of the fittest bullshit. To be honest with you, I just got an email and that's gonna show up on the podcast. I apologize for that.
I mean, literally, growing up for me was like, hey, a bunch of boys, throw them all in one room, close the door, and we'll leave them alone for 2 hours. Who's that screaming? Hey, listen, if the screaming stops in like the next 30 seconds,
that's it.
It's not that serious of an injury,
Right.
They've sorted it out.
Yeah, it's when you don't hear your kids that something's.
That's when it's a problem.
It's fair.
Yeah, I mean, I had my main interactions growing up as my younger brother and my older brother, and when you're growing up with boys, I grew up as one of the boys. Little did they know I'd also grow up to also like women.
We have something in common, guys.
We have so much in common. I blame my father because
I was going to say yes.
Wow.
I knew what he was doing.
Well, nice to meet you, America.
He raised me as such as a son. He used to get mad at me if I wanted to play with Barbie dolls, and if I was like, he would be like, "Oh, why do you want to play with that girly shit?" Like he would give me issues if I was interested. Luckily, I wasn't. Maybe I was conditioned not to. I don't know, but I was super into sports because he was like, "You're not gonna be no princess," and
Sounds nothing like your father.
Well, he didn't say it like that, but he was certainly like, anytime I was like indicated any interest into like anything that would be considered like feminine or like overly feminine, or overly girly, it was a problem. Like he would look at me with such disdain, and I would be like, "Damn, sorry." But and so,
Wow.
but the thing is like I remember not being super into it. I remember asking about it because my sister was like super girly, and whenever I asked about it, because she would have like all this like lady shit, he would be like, you don't want any of that. You don't want to do that." And I'm like, all right, like I guess I don't.
All right, bet.
So, I'm like, bet. So let me do sports.
Let's talk.
Let me hang out with the boys and do what boys do. And
So, all right. So that's an interesting question that makes me want to ask, and it's going to be way too deep to get into in this podcast. But
I don't think he actually made me gay.
all right. Well, that was actually going to be my question.
No,
I was like, is
I
it
don't.
nature versus nurture? Because do you
because
think if he let you play with dolls and do girly things like your sister, who is, correct me if I'm wrong, heterosexual?
straight, yeah, she is very hetero.
Then
Well,
do you think
no,
that would
because
affect
I was.
Trust me, I know.
Will,
his
I'm gonna
sister
come
is
over there. I'm gonna beat.
She hasn't decided what she's gonna do yet. But
Listen, let me tell you, Kayla's sister is
No.
very straight.
But-
All right, I have a good authority.
Will, I swear to God, I'm gonna come for all your cousins. You ain't got no sisters, but I know you got cousins. I'm gonna pull up real fast.
Oh God.
No, so the reason I don't think that is because when I was younger, I was also like really encouraged by everyone to like boys, and everyone was like, "Oh, like that was every single person was like, oh, like." Well, obviously, except for my dad, because he was like, "You get away from boys. I don't want you getting pregnant." And I never have to worry about that.
Yeah, I was about to say, just the idea of that is funny to me.
Isn't it hilarious how all of this happened? But yeah, no, it was, growing up, everyone was like, crush on boys and shit, and I was like, I would just pick out random boys who were like popular, and then like sometimes I'd spice it up by picking like a boy who wasn't super popular and be like, "Oh no, I like that one," because no one else.
You picked on the stragglers. I like it.
And I was just like, I have a crush on that one, and then the girls would be like, "Oh, like we're gonna set you."
Yeah. Oh, no, okay.
No, they'd be like, "Oh, that's so easy. Like we'll set you up with that," and I was like, "You're gonna what?"
Wow, you have nicer friends than I do.
Well, it was weird. That was like, honestly, like girls wanted to like have boyfriends in like first grade, second grade, and I was sitting there. I was like, I just want to play on the jungle.
Yeah,
gym.
really.
Like,
Listen, this Play-Doh ain't gonna eat itself here.
I'm like, I don't want to do none of this, and all they cared about was like having some like boyfriend who they could like hold hands, and I did not care about that at all. But what's funny is like I had like a crush on this girl, and I didn't know that like being gay was a thing, and I told this other girl in like 5th grade. So I was like 9 or 10 or how old are you? Yeah, like 10 years old or something. And I told her, she was like, "Okay, so like who do you have a crush on?" I was like, honestly, like I really have a crush on like this girl. And she like looked at me with such like so aghast that I just said that. And I was just like astounded. I was like, "What? Like, is that weird?" And she was like,
I want you to read. It's called the Bible.
She was fine though. She's like, "No, like that's fine." And like she like teased me about it a little bit, and it was weird. Like I was like kind of out, and then I found out like because the classmates, like she used to tease me so openly that people started to realize that I was gay or like had a crush on a girl, and then I used to get teased. And so the solution to that was to send me to Catholic school. That did wonders.
I
was
like,
oh my God.
I was like, ooh.
These skirts are interesting. Just.
And then
Kayla's parents used Catholic school. It was not very effective.
It was not. In fact, I feel like it made me even more gay.
Oh man.
And pulled up in high school. Actually, for a long time, I wasn't sure if I was fully gay. I thought I was bi. And Yeah, for a while, but the other thing is like everyone was really trying to get some semblance of straight. They were like, you know, they were so insistent that like I have to be attracted to men in some capacity.
Right.
And they were like, you're not really gay. You're just kiss a girl gay. You're not a real gay. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, right.
Let
me show you, honey.
Let me show you a little something.
Which is an interesting side note, you know, because, you know, every time that we used to our first hangouts, Kayla, I'm sure you would know, we'd go to bars and you would tell guys like, oh yeah, I'm gay, and they'd be like, huh, yeah, that's because you haven't met the right guy yet, you know. And like that was like the response you would get literally
all
every
the time.
Weekend. Yeah,
right.
They would say it all the time. What I would like to do is I would say, listen, if you have a sister, let's have a competition. You or your sister, who's gonna win?
Damn, you clever bitch.
I did have one guy flirt with me, and then I was like, oh no, I'm a lesbian, and he was like, oh, like I have a lesbian friend to introduce you, and
wow.
that worked out well.
One of the last few gentlemen.
One of the last few gentlemen. Yeah, I felt kind of bad because I was talking to him, and then the girl came over and
she was like, and you were like, but who is this?
I stopped talking to him completely. He was gone. Oh, she was a very lovely lady. That was my first blonde.
All right, we're not gonna get into that. But actually,
all right.
I think we can call this an episode.
Yeah, football and lesbians.
Football and lesbians. That's gonna be the name. That's gonna be the title. That is gonna be the title. 100%. 100%. But yeah, maybe next week we can do our favorite movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll clap right.
Yeah, this is gonna be Flicka.
It's not Flicka. Okay.
I think it's Flicka.
Is it Flicka?
It's Flicka. I think it might be Flicka. It looks like Flicka. Could be Flicka. Maybe Flicka. I mean, have you seen Flicka? It's a bomb movie.
I have seen Flicka. It's amazing. I cry every time. Tim McGraw, are you kidding me? It's like my daddy's little girl, or no, my little girl. That song sends me. I'm crying all the time. You know what? This reminds me. We should have a Flicka movie night. Okay, I'm good.
Okay, I don't know how to politely tell you absolutely not, but
come on, you don't want to cry with me? It's such a
I cry around you enough.
I cry
physical pain.
I don't cry around you. Yeah, I don't cry around you. I usually cry after we hang out, just because it was so traumatic. I just sit in my car in Applebee's and just weep.
No, that's where I go for my daily cry.
Oh man, I'm trying to remember. Remember that fucking Twitter account that just talked about like fighting at Applebee's? I think the guy died, but it was like a really famous one.
Oh my god!
And all he talked about was like he was like Applebee's. He like tweeted at Applebee's like, I got into a fight, or there's a fight going on in your parking lot, and then they're like, oh my god, like where and what happened? He's like, I don't know. I'll let you know after it happens.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Really I love those Applebee's memes, man.
Oh, they're the
Brings
best.
Me back. They are.
You haven't lived until you've got. I haven't gotten into a fight in the parking lot with somebody else besides you two.
We haven't fought.
I mean, drunk. I kidnapped you, I picked you up and threw you into the trunk and drove off, but that was different.
That's not a fight. That's just how we show. That's how we show
affection in this family.
That's how I say we're not done drinking.
I feel like I've been in a trunk. Haven't I been? Have you?
Oh
have
my god.
Haven't I been in someone's trunk?
Not one of ours.
Are you sure? Whose fucking trunk was that? Oh shit.
All right. Well,
questions for later.
Bye, everybody.